Some people say like you fake it until you make it. But personally, I believe I faith it.
You faith it until you make it.
Until I make it.
Because somebody's asking themselves, I have passion for tourism. Is maybe what's the bare minimum somebody could think of before getting into this sector?
I remember one thing he told me, you are too young to own a company. Then later on he was like, you need like $500,000. Then I was like, man, that's like a movie.
Yeah, to scare you away.
Like, why did you tell me $500,000? You better tell me 500,000.
Yes. Yes.
Because for me, I don't compete.
Yes.
I set standards.
All right.
Yes. I can only fight one common problem or one common enemy.
Yes.
Called poverty.
Okay.
Lazima unga ipatikane kwa mimi.
All right, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is the Overflow Show. It is where you live your life in abundance. And of course, you know, as it is every Saturday at 8 p.m., we come to you live right here on Hope TV. And of course, on Hope FM and across all our social media platforms. That is at Hope TV Kenya, at Hope FM Live. So you can feel free to engage with us. Our numbers on the screen, you can get in touch. We'll be so glad to engage with you. And of course, you can as well get in touch at Hope FM Live, at Favored Frank, at Hope TV Kenya. Let's engage. Let's know what you think. Let's know your feedback about the conversation tonight. And if you're joining us for the first time, and of course, last weekend we had an amazing conversation. We've been having a series on wealth creation for the past, couple of Saturdays. And I want to believe you've been learning a lot. If you missed out on our previous conversation, you can visit our YouTube channel, that is at Hope TV Kenya. You'll be sure to catch the conversation. Of course, last week we had this guy in studio who is a taxi driver, and he was sharing about, the challenges they go through, trying to put food on the table and trying to create wealth. The many challenges they go through, from having to meet passengers that are, they don't pay, having to meet, those, we have some people at our core, they meet along the way. And, some of the challenges were just, very serious. But at the end of it all, the end game is creating wealth, creating money, creating wealth that will transcend generations. And of course, tonight, it is no different. We go on, we proceed with a conversation on wealth creation. And we have an expert in studio with somebody in a field of tours and travel. It's still the transport sector. So they want to let us know what you need to get into the sector, the challenges you should expect, and of course, what it is that you should be prepared for when you get into that sector. But all in the name of wealth creation. So join me as invite this is David Eteo. David, how are you?
I'm all right. Thank you so much.
You're great?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Maybe for somebody who's tuning in for the first time tonight, just an introduction of yourself, and we dive straight into the conversation.
Thank you, Favored Frank, for hosting me. My name is David Eteo. I'm the CEO of Crown Eagle Safaris, a tours and travel company based in Nairobi, Kenya. We are focusing mainly on making sure that Kenyans are traveling within the country and outside the country at affordable prices and at stress-free.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. You're talking about Crown Eagle Safaris.
Yeah.
These are a tour company.
Yeah.
And you're in the travel sector, tours and travel. Why did you choose to get into this sector, just to begin with?
Personally, I have got passion for people. I have got passion for travel.
Okay.
And I have passion for serving. And that is the reason why I felt that hospitality industry will be fit for me. And hence, getting myself into the industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, I know there is somewhere you began from. Ama ulitoka tu shule and that was, the space you were in, ama ulianzaje?
No, it has been a journey. It has really been a journey. Personally, I'm born and raised from Kakamega,
Yes.
that is in western part of Kenya. And Kakamega, it is known for its Kakamega forest,
Yes.
hosting so many bird species. I started developing interest in the birds.
Okay.
So I could just, get myself to Kakamega forest, get to, just learn more about the butterflies,
Yes.
learn about the birds. And the interest grew in me.
Okay.
So after high school, of course, I didn't have a way to go or what to do in life. So I was just home.
Yes.
And then I was on the road just watching the vehicles pass. And there was these tourists who were going to Kakamega forest, but they didn't know the road. So they asked me if I could, take them with me to Kakamega forest. So I led them the way. And of course, I turned to be their guide.
Okay.
Who is not a professional guide, but, I self-trained guide. So I led them into, exploring the Kakamega forest.
Yes.
And after that, they asked me for my email address. By then, I didn't have an email address. So, of course, I had to create one.
Yes.
So they helped me create one. And then they traveled back to the US. But they left me in the village. Of course, they left me with some tip, which made me feel on the top of the world, how it feels.
All right.
Yeah, holding dollar for the first time.
Yes.
It was really amazing. So thereafter,
So this was after Form 4, right?
Yeah, that's exactly after Form 4. Because things were a bit tough there.
Yes.
So I could not even afford to come to the city and stuff like that. So after some time, they asked me, they wrote me an email because they told me, at least to be visiting my email once a week.
Yes.
So I had to commute, to go to a place called Chavakali, which is the nearest cyber, for me to be able to access my Gmail account. So that's exactly what I did. So one day after 6 months, I found a very long email and they were like, thank you so much for, being our guide in Kakamega Forest. Would you be willing to pursue something in tourism? I was like, I'm more ready than yesterday.
Yes.
So they were like, okay, fine. So we will talk to our guide, the guy who has been taking them around to see if we can find something for me in Nairobi.
Okay.
That's in terms of college.
Yes.
So that's how I bounced into Nairobi.
All right.
Then when I came to Nairobi, of course, I went to a small college in town. It was called Kenyan College by then. It's no longer...
No, I can't be traced. No evidence.
It is a bookshop now. It is a bookshop. Yeah. So I went there and I studied there. So I did tour guiding and administration, which was very okay with my line.
Okay.
So I could study at the same time I was working for this other tour company. So I think my diploma was supposed to take 2 years.
Yes.
But then I had more knowledge than my teachers.
Okay. What do you mean?
Because personally, the practicality part of it, I had it more than my teachers.
All right.
So
because you had already gained some hands-on skills.
Yes. Because I was going to the parks, I was interacting with different types of guides. I was in different associations, learning more about birds and animals. So I had a wealth of experience.
All right.
So my teachers were like, you know what, we don't think you will continue being here for the second year. Just see the exam and go. So I sat my exam. So I did my diploma in 1 year. Then I just went and focused mainly on tourism now.
Okay.
So apart now from being a guide, my boss tried to encourage me also to try to do more of operations. That is now being in the office and also taking part in marketing.
All right.
So when I tried marketing, I realized now, again, that is my line. So I decided now I'll move from the field now into the office.
Into the office, yeah.
And now meet people, talk to people, interact with people, get to know what they want. Because personally, I believe in solving people's problem, which I'm called by God to do.
Yes.
Yeah, so
this you're trying to connect purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But now this is a person who did not know what he really was called to do.
Yes.
But you have to
figure out,
Yeah. So some people say you fake it until you make it. But personally, I believe I faith it.
You faith it until you make it.
Until I make it.
Contigo.
Yeah. So that is how the journey was. Then I worked for the company for 3 years. Then after that, there was an opportunity in one of the biggest travel company in the country. And personally, I went to try and apply.
Yes.
So basically, I didn't send a CV or anything. I just walked into the office.
You show up.
Yeah. I was told that they were interviewing people. Then I was like, I must be one of those people who will be interviewed.
Without applying.
Without a paper, without applying. And they were very keen on what they wanted.
Ehe.
Of course, what they wanted, I didn't have it. Because personally, I was only, in the company that I was only dealing with inbound.
Okay.
Inbound is now bringing people in. But this company was very big on now domestic tourism.
Okay.
And also taking Kenyans out. That is outbound.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
so they were truly, that is what they were looking for. But now me, I was only concentrating on one side, which was inbound. That is the only thing I knew.
Yes.
It was all about safari.
Okay.
Talk about Masai Mara,
Yes.
Samburu, Zanzibar, Serengeti. Those were my things. But now these guys want us to sell Mombasa, sell Sing Island.
Craigstone. Bali nalia ama ilinyamaza?
Ilinyamaza, ilikamilika.
Hakuna kelele hapo.
Machozi ilisha. Those were premium tiers.
What happened?
I think God knows. Anyway, a lot of environmental changes,
Climate change and all that.
Climate change and all that. Yeah, so basically I showed up and like I had people before me and after me.
Yes.
Of course, they were being called, being interviewed, asked questions. Then when it came to my turn, I was like, you know what? Let me try my luck.
Okay.
So I went into the interview room.
So the motivation was the passion.
Yeah, the passion. Because for me...
Yeah, you didn't look at maybe what you have.
No. I knew if I look at what I have, I'll not qualify.
Okay.
And anyway, I did not expect to qualify.
Okay.
But I was faithing it. Yeah, because I was like, I must work for this company.
Yes.
So yeah, they asked me a few questions here and there. And of course, I didn't have any paper. I didn't have any CV, nothing.
Okay.
Then they told me, you can just leave us your email address.
Yes,
and your phone number.
We'll see.
We will communicate with you if you are shortlisted. Then I went home. It was like on a Monday.
Yes.
So of course on a Thursday, I checked my email.
Yes.
When I checked my email, there was acceptance letter, but not addressed to me.
Okay.
Addressed to someone else who was just
erroneously sent to you.
Yes. So that is how the acceptance letter came. So I was worried, should I accept it or...
Without your name?
Yeah. Or what do I do? Then I was like, I just responded. Thank you so much for offering me this opportunity. I will definitely report. So what God can do, no man can do. It was amazing.
Wow.
So I responded, but I did not sign off. So I just, let it that way.
So you don't sign up with your name?
I was worried because, they will be like, sorry, it is not you.
We revoke.
Yeah, we revoke. Then I was like, no. So I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity. This is how God works anyway.
Yeah.
So on Monday, I reported to work. Of course, I don't think I reported as David. I reported as that person.
As the other person.
So, Then after 3 months, I think those people realized this is not the person we were looking for.
What happened?
Of course they had to, because now the guy came to look for a job. And then they realized.
So you are saying this happened in this city, right?
Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's maybe fast forward. Let's come to the point of, after working for this company, did you work for another or you just went straight to now having your own venture?
Now I worked for 2 companies, and then now I went into my venture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe why did you feel that you need maybe to stop being employed and come up with your own venture?
One thing I believe is that God raises us from one glory to another, and I felt it was time for me now to advance and make some strides in the industry.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of loopholes, and I wanted to fill those loopholes. Yeah, there was a lot of gaps.
Okay.
So basically, I believe in solving people's problem, as I just told you. So that is exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
So that is why I decided now I want to, move and do my own thing so that I'm able to fill these gaps.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So how did you start? Because, most of the time people say, before I start, I need capital. I need to amass wealth. I need to amass a lot of money. I have enough capital to start this business. Maybe ulikuwa umetengeza pesa nyingi sana and you are sure that you want to start your own company?
I think itakuwa uongo nikisema nilikuwa nimejipanga sana, kwa sababu one thing I want to believe is that it is not all about the capital. It is all about an idea.
Okay.
How are you willing to execute this idea? Because you might have all the money that you need, but you don't have an idea.
Okay.
Yes.
So you need an idea. That's a vision.
That is a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Because you must have a vision. Because even the Bible talks about where there is no vision, people perish.
Yeah.
And that is now what propels a man. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years to come?
Yes.
What do you really want to achieve as time goes by?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
So you need to have at least an idea.
Okay.
Or in other words, we call it a vision.
Mm-hmm. So you maybe written it down?
Yes, of course.
Uh-huh.
Of course. I had, when I was working like my last month, because I was thinking of quitting.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes my wife will be like, now what will we eat?
Mm-hmm.
What will we do? One,
Yes.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So I realized, if I continue listening to her, probably I will not make it in life.
Yes.
Because, what I'm thinking and what she's thinking those are two different things.
Uh-huh.
She was thinking of good life,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you understand, all businesses have got challenges.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can transition from employment to being self-employed
Mm-hmm.
and you make it in life easily.
Yes.
It is not.
Uh-huh.
It is not a walk in the park.
Okay.
It calls upon sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You deny yourself something.
You have, not some things.
Mm-hmm. Almost everything.
Maybe like everything. Yeah. So that's how it was.
Uh-huh.
And then, so you must have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have a vision, you must write it down.
Yes.
Then with how you have your vision, how are you planning to implement it or execute it?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things.
Okay.
Then what will you need for you now to execute your vision?
Uh-huh.
Then who do you need
Yes.
to help you execute your vision?
All right.
Because you cannot execute it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You need people.
You need people.
Yeah.
Partnership.
You need partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
And who are you partnering with?
Yes.
People you are partnering with, are they of like mind?
Yes.
Because now those are the things you're supposed to ask yourself.
All right.
Then now, after you've achieved what you wanted, what next?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really want us to talk about the money aspect in this issue, because somebody's asking themselves, I have passion for tourism.
Mm-hmm.
I have passion for wild animals. I have passion for this and this and the other.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I get started? Because the reason that's why I asked you about maybe if you had amassed enough money is maybe what's the bare minimum somebody could think of before getting into this sector?
I don't want to talk
the bare
about
minimum. Huh?
I don't want to talk about the bare minimum, because when you look at it, like when I was doing my feasibility study,
Yes.
and I was trying to ask around, like I remember I went back to my former employer and I asked him, like, how much do I need for me to start up this like a tours and travel company?
Yes.
I remember one thing he told me: you are too young to own a company.
The employees.
Yeah, but you stay in employment. When you get to around 35, 40, then you can think of,
So how old were you then?
By then I was about 28 years.
Okay.
So he was pushing me like, you're still young. Then me, I'm like, no. Me, I feel it's time. I feel it's time. I need to do this.
Yes.
So it was a bit challenging. But then I realized, then later on, it was like, you need like $500,000. Then I was like, man, that's like a movie.
Yeah. It will scare you away.
Like, why did you tell me $500,000? You better tell me 500,000.
Yes.
500, $500,000 is very serious.
It looks far-fetched, yeah?
That is serious. But when you tell me 500,000, at least I can figure out what you're saying. So yeah.
Okay.
Then I felt a bit scared and I was like, let me hold on.
Okay.
But then when I went back, I had a lot of pressure. Like, David, no, this is the time. You have to go.
Yes.
You have to go. I remember going to my current employer, and I told him, like, now, it's time for me to leave. I have to figure out what I'll leave my children in case I'm able to leave this world.
Yes.
Then he was like, no, you can't go.
Where are you going?
Yeah, he almost doubled my salary.
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I have to go. And I want to thank God because of the wife to my employer. She was like, it is time to go.
Yes.
I know you will prosper.
Yeah.
So she could even see it. She could see me prospering in life because how I used to work for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I never used.
So you're talking about the excellence in working for people. First.
Yes.
You must, show the excellence with all your heart and mind. Wow.
You must own their business.
Yes.
Because if you could come to where I used to sit, I was the president of that brand. Yes.
It's like you're the owner.
I was the owner. Because, it is me who was getting money from people.
You are the image.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was getting money from the pockets and taking to my boss. So it was my company.
Yes.
So it was my personal responsibility to work and serve them diligently.
And see to it that they prosper.
Yes.
For the time God allowed you to serve them.
Exactly.
Wow.
And if you go and ask them, they will tell you they have never had a serious employee like me. They can tell you that for a fact.
You're in records.
I am in records.
Wow.
They even still use me as an example to the new employees. Why?
Right.
Because I believed that if I serve them with the passion, with the zeal, when my time comes,
yes,
God will send such people my way.
All right, great. David, I would want us to talk about, now you've left this company. Ulienda wapi? Like, I mean, it's a bold step. Unaenda wapi?
It was tough. So when I left, it was around midday. So I went home. And my wife was at work. So I called her and I told her I've resigned. She did not respond, but she just hung up on me. Then when she came in the evening, she just asked me 2 questions, which I'm not going to, say it on air.
Yes.
But then I was like, God knows how and why.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm not giving it a try. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So that is how it all began. Then now, I took myself into prayer and fasting.
Yes.
Because I really wanted God to show me the way. So I had like 6 names, but Crown Eagle Safaris stood out. Because when you look at Crown Eagle Safaris, it's not just a Crown Eagle Safaris.
Yes.
It is a type of an eagle. It's a very special eagle. In fact, if there are so many in Kenya, maybe 2.
Yes.
It's a very special bird. And you know the characteristics of an eagle.
Yes.
So hence settling on that name.
Okay, so you've settled on a name.
Yes.
I mean, you need business permit.
Yes.
You need vehicles.
Yes.
You need employees. Ulitoa wapi hawa? Did you have enough money to outsource all these people and the resources there,
I did not. I think if I had a lot of money, I had like 200,000.
200,000.
Yeah. So if I was to compare it with my former employer who was telling me $500,000, I was like with a 300K deficit.
Yes.
So with 200,000, what I focused on was to get myself an office. That is what we call a physical location.
Yes.
Then number 2 was to secure my registrations with the county government, getting the permits, making sure that I'm compliant with the law. Then registering with also the Ministry of Tourism, that is Tourism Regulatory Authority. And then also finding myself into an association.
Yes.
Which is now Kenya Association of Tour Operators.
That's a community of like-minded people.
Like-minded people. Yeah, and I went for, of course, there were other associations, but I chose Kenya Association of Tour Operators because it is the driving force behind tourism in the country. It has been in existence for the last 45 years.
Yes.
So that is why I focused mainly on joining that association.
Okay, let's now talk of, somebody's asking, how much do I need to obtain a license, maybe from the government? How much do I need maybe to, join these associations? These associations.
A good question. So you realize when you want like a permit from maybe let's say Nairobi County, it will always depend with the size of your office, how many employees. So it has a lot of factors to be considered. So you can get a license as low as 10,000 shillings.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for a year.
Yes.
Then Tourism Regulatory Authority, it's about 8,000 shillings. That is per year as well. Then of course an association, it's about 11,000 per year. Yes.
So lazima pia mtu akue na magari zake.
Not necessarily. That's why I talked about when you're having a vision, you must also know who are you partnering with. So having been in the industry for quite some time, I knew who I would work with.
Yes.
So I had people that I could share with my vision and they could buy into it and they could support me in that.
Yes.
So basically what I did when I was starting, I did not have any vehicle.
Okay.
I only had my personal car.
Yes.
So what I did was to network and, work with people who are willing to support me.
They have the resources.
They have the resources. But mainly I did not go for those who had money, but I went for those who have their own vehicles.
Yes.
So they became like my transporters. Yeah.
Yes.
So those are the ones I was using.
So you just branded their cars and?
Yes. So I could just brand their vehicles and then use them for my clients.
All right.
Yes.
Great. You can see how such a great story, a story of faith, a story of determination, resilience. David, so, while starting out, you don't have reviews. What hujui?
Of course.
So, unatoa wapi clients?
That was the big question, because that is always the question my wife asked me, but I was like, God will bring them for me.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a challenge, because when I was leaving my other employment, I was given one condition: never contact my clients.
Okay.
And because I was an obedient employee,
You don't pull clients from...
no, I left that.
Yes.
So what I did is that personally, I had a very personal connection with clients. And there are those, I think, who are following me directly on my social media.
Yes.
So whenever they came to the office and they found me, I'm not in the office. They could
reach
even,
out.
they could go to my Facebook, ask me for my number and all that. Of course, wanting to know what I'm doing. And then immediately after resigning on the other side, I got a very good opportunity with the media. Media houses, talk about KBC, K24, and many other media houses in the country, who hosted me, and they wanted me to talk about businesses, talk about youth and stuff like that, and talk about charity work, because it is something that is in me. So in the process, I could now sell my new venture, which was Crown Eagle Safaris, and that's how I started getting clients.
Okay.
Then from there, we've gone through that process, and of course now word of mouth, referrals, and that's how we've been able to grow to where we are.
So in essence, you're saying that it requires publicity.
You have to.
You have to go out.
You have to go out and reach out to people.
Yeah. All right.
You have to reach out to people.
That means you have to know how to talk.
Of course. Because when God gives you a gift, He knows how you'll use it.
Yes.
But it's your personal responsibility to use it.
Hata kuamsha jamaa enda ongea.
Ashakupa neema.
Yes.
Wewe tembea tafuta watu ongea nao.
Wow.
It was not easy. People could think like I don't know what I was going to do, but I was like, I know what to do.
Yes.
Because I could talk to people. I could ask people to help me.
Yes.
Because me, I'm never shying away.
Yeah.
I'll ask.
That's one thing I've loved about you. Kujitetea. You have to talk. We want to take a very short break, commercial break. And when we come back on the other side of this break, we're going to be delving deeper into the challenges, David has had to go through. One could, expect when venturing into the tours and travel sector. Stay with us. They call me Favored Frank.
Catch Sitam Special.
He's the God who raised up Moses in a palace only to use him in the wilderness, and raised up Joseph in the wilderness only to use him in a palace.
Young person, God is at work within your heart. What does it say? He is at work. It's Him who is at work in you.
If you are going to be successful in the service of God, it calls for sacrifice.
We get to appraise what God is doing, and by His invitation, partner with Him.
Come on, keep moving. He's inspiring you to challenge that which seems impossible.
What He would require of us is to declare, send me Lord, regardless of our background.
Only on Hope TV.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
All right, thank you so much for staying right here. This is Hope TV, where you look and live, and of course on Hope FM, where you listen and live. And if you got any question, you can feel free to share with us. We have our number scrolling on the screen. You can get in touch, send your feedback. We'll be so glad to engage with you. They call me Favored Frank, and we have David Iteo in studio, who's sharing, oozing wisdom on how you can get to invest in the tourism sector. David, we had talked about how you started out and how you ventured into this field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know some of the major challenges you've encountered while trying to start out and even gain stability.
Wow. The challenges are so many, but I will not focus on the many. I'll only focus on a few.
Okay.
Of course, the first challenge, or the challenge number one,
yes,
it is trust.
Trust.
Who trusts a beginner?
Uh-huh.
Who trusts a startup?
Yes.
That is the question number one. Because for people to believe in you, for people to trust your brand, you must be able to defend yourself.
They need history.
They need history.
Uh-huh.
Where do you get history?
Yeah.
There is no history.
Uh-huh.
So you have to make your own history. It was
Chart
a
your
challenge.
path.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the client will ask you, why should I not book with company X
Yes.
and book with you?
Uh-huh.
Company X has got its own vehicles. They have
Yes.
been in the existence for the last 15 years. So it is a reputable company.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about you.
Yes.
You have nothing to say. So you must be prepared for
Hauna catalog, you don't have.
Hauna kitu bwana. Hauna. In fact, you are trying to figure out how you can, become that person.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenge number one is trust.
Mm-hmm.
How do people trust you?
Yes.
So basically, for people to trust you, you must be very consistent in what you do.
Okay.
You must be consistent in what you say.
Mm-hmm.
You must be willing to deliver
Yes.
what you've promised.
Mm-hmm.
And you must also have that one kind of person who can stand and say, I've traveled with this person.
Yes.
And it's good.
Okay. Okay. So you need referrals.
You need referrals. And not
So
even
that
2, 3,
means
4, 5.
you deliver excellence.
You must.
Uh-huh.
You must. There's no choice. There's no choice.
Okay.
In hospitality industry,
Yes.
there's no mediocrity.
Yeah.
It is either you are serious or not. And if you're not, you're out.
So you have to be at par.
You have to be at par. You must
Top of class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you must be thinking on the behalf of your client.
Uh-huh.
Even before they reach out to you,
Yes.
you must know what they want.
Yeah. You tailor make something, an
Yes.
experience for them.
That will suit their needs,
Uh-huh.
even before they ask you.
So that now talks of speaking to a customer's need.
Yes. You have to solve their problems.
Wow.
That is the question number one. So that is how we managed to develop trust with our clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time you are coming to me and you are like, I wanted to go to, I wanted to go to Mombasa. My first question will be, have you been to Mombasa yourself?
Yes.
Then if you tell me no, I'll take advantage of educating you about Mombasa.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So that is how, when you educate a client, when you give a client the information they need,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to trust you more.
Okay.
And that is
Okay.
what I did. So that, but you will always face that.
So you need to have done your research, your homework very well.
Very well. And you know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be deep inside you. Another challenge
Yes.
we have in this industry, we call them difficult clients.
Yes.
Difficult client. So difficult client, I think there
That is another challenge, right?
It is a challenge.
Uh-huh.
It is a challenge because basically you ventured into hospitality industry and you want to make money. You want to be rich, you want to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the industry and you meet this one difficult client.
Yes.
Who gives you problems? He asks you for Mombasa, you give him. He asks you for Masai Mara, you give him.
Uh-huh.
You ask him for he asks you for Samburu.
They are not settling on anything.
They are not. They will ask you Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam, Seychelles, Mauritius.
And then I end up in Nairobi.
Then anakuambia, we've just decided we want to go to Kitengela.
So this is a hot air inquiry.
Yes. But they want to settle in Kitengela.
Yes.
So how are you going to handle that? So you need a big heart. Because it is a challenge.
Yes.
It is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Then another challenge that we have in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
it is what we call unfair competition.
Okay. Okay.
They're the big boys who have been in the industry for long.
Mm-hmm.
So they can offer amazing deals to their clients.
Yes.
A client will come and ask you, can you match this?
Those are unbeatable.
Unbeatable. You can't. You can't. For example, this person, he owns his vehicles.
Yes.
He can play around with the margins.
Yeah.
He will be like, you know what, going to Masai Mara, I'll charge that vehicle 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
But because you are subhiring that vehicle from a third party,
Yes.
that party will tell you, for me to hire my vehicle is 30,000.
Yes. So you factor in plus your profit.
Of course, plus your margins.
Uh-huh.
So you end up like selling that thing maybe like 35,000.
Uh-huh.
And this other person is selling at 20,000. So how do you expect to match?
Very unfair.
Very unfair. So we talk about unfair competition,
Mm-hmm.
which is now part and parcel of this industry.
Because how can one then, go about, unfair competition?
Now you have to choose.
Mm.
Do you want to compete?
Yes.
Because for me, I don't compete.
Yes.
I set standards.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yes.
You chart your own path.
You must be unique in your own way.
Uh-huh.
So me, I set the standards.
Yes.
So this is what I sell.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't sell you a package. I sell you an experience.
Okay.
So do you want an experience or a package?
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you want a package, go to Agent B.
Yes.
But for Agent B Crown Eagle Safaris,
It's an
we
experience.
offer you an experience.
Wow.
You get that?
All right.
Yeah. So people don't get it.
Mm.
You must remain authentic
Yes.
and original.
People buy authenticity.
That's what people buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what people buy. But people don't know about it.
Mhm.
You want to copy paste
Yes.
someone's idea.
Yeah.
It will not work.
Okay.
And you can take it to the bank.
Yes.
Most people who have quitted this industry,
Yes.
it is because they did copy and paste
To compete.
to compete. We are not in this industry to compete.
Yes.
Personally, if there is anything I'm competing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I will. I can only fight one common problem
Mm-hmm.
or one common enemy
Yes.
called poverty.
Okay.
Lazima unga ipatikane kwa meza. Eh? Eh?
Unga
Unga kwa meza. Hey.
So, in other words, you're competing against the person you were yesterday.
Mhm. I compete within myself.
Mhm.
I cannot compete with my colleagues.
Yes.
No. Me and my colleagues, we are working hand in hand
Yes.
to fight this enemy called poverty,
Yeah.
to fight this enemy called unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
but not to fight against each other.
Yes.
That is not my field.
All right.
No.
Great. So you've talked about trust. You've talked about unfair competition. You've talked about difficult clients.
Yes.
Maybe are there some more?
Of course they are.
Mhm.
There are so many other challenges.
Mhm.
There is this challenge where you face you will get this, let me say, lack of enough capital.
Yes.
That is also another challenge.
Okay. Okay.
Or lack of access to funds.
Yes.
You know, when you're a startup,
Mm-hmm.
no bank will want to give you a loan.
Yeah.
Maybe a Mshwari.
You're not
And Mshwari can only give you 5,000.
credit worthy. You're not.
So you will get this client who will be like, oh, Frank, I want to give you business.
Yes.
I'm giving you business worth 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, for us to give you this business,
Yeah.
you will have to work with an LPO.
Yes.
That is local purchase order.
Yeah.
Local purchase order, they are like, we will pay you after 30 days.
Mm.
So how do you get the 2 million
Yes.
to facilitate this travel?
Very tricky.
It becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
The banks will not be willing to loan you because you are not credit worth,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Okay. Okay.
So you'll have to lose that business honorably because it is not that you cannot manage, but it's also you don't have anything. So that's another challenge.
Okay.
It is a challenge you have to deal with.
Uh-huh. Okay. For the time you've been in this industry, so we're talking about how many years roughly?
This is my 8th year
8th year.
running my own business.
Okay.
But now total in the industry for about 15 years.
All right. Great. So what's that major challenge you've encountered? Because I know there's a time COVID came, there's a time many things have happened. What's that one major challenge you've witnessed that you see within this period? Hii ingenyeka chini.
Wow. I don't know whether to cry or to
We need
laugh.
a handkerchief somewhere.
I think you should get me some water. Otherwise, anyway, our industry is one of those delicate industries.
Okay.
Very, very delicate.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that touches the matter of health,
Yes.
security,
Mm-hmm. Well-being.
well-being of people,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. our industry goes back to its knees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I remember very well, in 2019, the company was doing very, very well, because by that time we had established a physical office in Russia, in Moscow to be precise.
Okay.
And we were getting quite a good number of Russians coming down for safari, for the beach and all that.
Yes.
So in 2020, I traveled there to Russia. And then when I came back,
Yes.
I came back with a lot of business. And this business was just to materialize.
Okay. Okay.
Some clients had paid us deposits, and COVID happened. When COVID happened,
Yes.
we thought it's something that will just take a week.
Ni homa tu ita.
Yes. So a week came and went. A month came and went. Then we were like, we have to live by COVID.
Yes.
COVID is not going anywhere. And there was this famous statement that if you continue behaving in a way you are behaving, COVID will treat you abnormally. You know, those are some of the words that could really cause a lot of pain, you know, into my skin.
Yes.
So these clients were like, you know, we're not planning to come, so we will need a refund. So how do you refund a client when you've already paid all the suppliers? And whatever you had as
already
the profit,
booked, you know.
you've already put unga on your table. How do you go back to, you know, to the supermarket and ask them for your money? Wow, that was a big challenge. So I think that is one thing that really weighed me down completely. And it's a challenge that I will never forget.
You know, they say that there was no travel.
There was no travel.
So how did you go about it?
The skies were locked. There was a session of movements. We could not even focus on domestic travel.
Yes.
Because, you know, you were just supposed to travel within your
lockdown and all that.
Exactly. So it was crazy, crazy, crazy. So I remember very well. Remember when COVID happened, there was no income. But the expenses remained
the same.
So it was a bit of a challenge.
So you have staff, you got people to pay,
Yes.
you got bills for the company.
So I was like, okay, I called my people, and then we were like, let's have a conversation. How do we support each other?
Yes.
Because right now, even if you come to the office, there's nothing you can do.
Yes.
Hence now this story of working
Work from home.
which does not work well for me. So, and when I hear about work from home, it pains my heart.
Unachoka sana.
It pains my heart.
Yes.
Not because of me, but because of what the experience I've gone through. So, of course, we agreed with I call them my partners. They're not my employees. They're my partners.
Yes.
Because those are the pillars of the company. So, yeah. So we had a conversation and we agreed like now, we are not going to be paying ourselves salaries, but we are going to pay ourselves bills.
Yes.
Like you do your calculations, like how much you need comfortably to live.
To survive.
Or rather to survive.
Yeah.
You know, at least your rent is paid, school fees is paid, and you have food on the table, and you've paid your rent.
Yes.
So people brought, and you know, we agreed on a few things here and there, and we agreed on how to support each other.
Yes.
So we were paying ourselves at least something for survival. Then 1 year down, we realized our accounts were becoming empty.
Yes.
So I asked them and I told them now, where we are now, we will not be able to support ourselves in the second year.
Yes.
So now we need to figure out, is there anything that you can do that can enable you to earn an extra coin? So yeah, that is how it was. And then we were like, now instead of coming to the office, let's just work from home.
Yeah.
Then in that process, that's how I moved. From being a CEO
Yes.
to a hawker.
What are you saying?
Yes.
What are you hawking?
I was selling oranges and vegetables
Where?
on the streets.
Here in Nairobi?
Yes. For those who saw me along Gong Road, Kawangware Dakoreti Corner,
Wanasema umeuza mboga.
mpaka machungwa, mpaka maembe.
Yes.
I could wake up early in the morning at 4.
Yes.
I set for a trip to Ukambani. Get some 3 sacks of oranges, come to my house, wash them, push them to my car boot, and then work with them.
Mhm.
Machungwa na teni, machungwa na teni. Yani machungwa tamu zaidi ya lua na tende. That was my slogan.
Kuona ni bure.
Kuona ni bure lakini
Kwenda na machungwa ndio pesa.
Ndio pesa. Ilikuwa mambo mazito. Mambo mazito.
What I say?
That was a huge challenge.
Uh-huh.
Hapo ndipo nilijua ya kwamba let us always put our focus to God and not even in our businesses.
Yes.
Because anything with your business can, you just wake up and you're like, this business cannot work anymore.
Talking about that, are you trying to communicate into flexibility to do something else apart from, what you're called to do?
People need to do what we call diversification.
Yes.
You need diversification. You should not put all your eggs in one basket. Anything can happen anytime.
Yes.
So I believe people should have different types of sources of income. Don't just focus on one income.
Yes.
No.
Because you don't know what disaster may come upon
that. Yes.
Okay.
So you have to diversify. You have to have other things to do.
That is what the Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11. From verse 1 coming 2, 3, thereabout, that invest in multiple ventures because you don't know what disaster may come upon the land.
Right.
Because in Zakuji biashara and you find that you have nothing to do. So you are talking about now somebody being flexible enough.
Yes.
In case one is not really working well, you can invest in another just to cushion yourself from the disaster or the losses.
Even if your business is booming, just diversify.
Okay.
Because you never can tell.
Yes.
The business that is booming today, tomorrow,
yes,
it will be something else.
Who knew COVID would come?
No one. And I remember there are so many old men who told me, what do you think I've not seen? Nowadays, I look at them and I laugh. I ask them, have you seen COVID? So please, never put all your eggs in one basket. Never.
Okay.
Never. Na kuna changamoto pia with our youth today. They always feel that they cannot downgrade their life into being something different.
Yes.
For example, you find someone probably he has been earning less, or maybe he has been earning like 100,000. And maybe something happened at the place of work and they are not able to work anymore.
Yes.
Probably they were retrenched or something. Then he gets another job. Maybe they're offering like 50,000 shillings. He will be like, I cannot take that job. He wants to get a job of 150, 200,000.
Yes.
What if it does not come? So shida kubwa ambayo tuko nayo katika hii Kenya, it is not about mambo na unemployment. Ni watu wameinua viwango vyao vya maisha.
Kuchagua kazi.
Waendelea kuchagua. From a CEO niliuza machungwa. And baada ya kuuza machungwa nirudi bado.
Sasa wakati unauza machungwa ulifunga ofisi?
Nilifukuzwa kwa ofisi. Ofisi ilikuwa ya wenyewe. Singeweza kulipa rent.
David,
for the first time I became a beggar.
What I say?
Yes.
So you closed the office. That means the company is not running.
It is not running.
So you're now focusing kwa mboga, machungwa.
Kuweka unga kwa meza. Sasa hiyo ndio ilikuwa sasa my bread and butter. So vegetables and oranges.
So for how long did this happen?
I did that for about 6 months.
6 months?
Yes, and the reason why niliachana na hiyo biashara ya machungwa ni baada ya kushikwa na kanjo.
Yes.
Pale Ngong Road hapo Toy Market. Nilifungua sasa tu, nikifungua tu buti ya gari sasa.
Yes.
Nataka nianze kupokea michuzi. Nimesema machungwa zaidi ya juisi. Kanjo akaniambia utatuambia hiyo juisi ni gani. Sasa badala Kanjo achukue machungwa akule bana. Kanjo ananishika bwana. Wana kilambo gari. It was so bad. So all the monies nilikuwa nimetengeneza za hiyo siku yote, walikula yote bwana. Walichukua 3,000 shillings.
And I can imagine during that time making 3,000.
That was my life saving, brother.
Yeah.
So nikaenda nyumbani, hiyo machungwa yote ikaoza. Na nikaambia Mungu, I'm not going back on the street.
Yes.
To hell with it.
So what did you do?
No, I decided now to focus just on my kukula ile nimebakisha. Alafu nikimaliza I go back to my village. But God is faithful.
Amen.
He never allowed me to go back to the village.
Yes.
So immediately after like 3 days, I got a very good connection.
Okay.
And from my mentor and my very good friend, Mr. George Washuri.
Yes.
Who gave me a very huge business.
He has been on this show a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's my mentor. If you ask him, he will tell you.
Yes.
When he found me, I was thin like this.
Yeah.
But today, you know, I'm eating with a spade.
A golden spoon. A silver spoon.
Yes. So he gave me a business, a very good business. And that's how I bounced back. And I was able to, you know, go back to my office,
Wow.
pay it up, pay my, you know, my
Arrears and
certifications, arrears. And yes, we are back to business.
You came back to business.
Yes.
And so since then, started picking and, you know,
Yeah.
the borders opened.
Picking, Yeah. And then I'm figuring out doing other things, you know. Now that is now diversification because we realized
Yes.
it is not all about hospitality.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yes.
So we decided to diversify and do other things. Yeah.
All right. Maybe because of now these challenges, what did you decide to do differently when you bounced back to the business? You know, just to take care of future unexpected events, maybe the acts of God, things like flood, things like COVID, things that come unexpectedly. What did you start doing differently besides diversification? Because I want us to talk about diversification about a little later. What did you start doing differently just to take care of yourself and maybe prepare for the future?
One thing I decided to do in life is that I decided to secure the life of my children.
Okay.
And of course, those who are close to me. And then focusing also mainly on humanity.
Okay. Okay.
By giving back to the community.
Yes.
And currently, we've registered an organization which is like a community-based organization. It is called Hope for Life.
Yes.
The reason why we call it Hope for Life is because we want to spread hope to those who are hopeless.
Okay.
There are those people who are in the villages and they feel that they cannot make it in life. We are trying to encourage them.
All right.
So right now, we are also organizing, talking to the youth, telling them that, you know what, today you are down, but tomorrow God can elevate you to the next level.
Yes.
What you need to do, it is just to kujituma na kuweka Mungu mbele. That is what we are doing in the villages.
So that you mean it is not just maximizing profits and keeping them to yourself.
No.
You now want to extend a hand.
We are extending a hand to the less fortunate in the villages.
Yes.
And right now we are also doing like, we have widows living with HIV and AIDS. We have the total orphans. We have a few in high school. We have a few in primary school.
Yes.
And we are also engaging these women into activities like agribusiness that brings them together to share their experiences.
Yeah.
We talk to them and we ensure that at least they are getting hope. They have someone they can lean on.
Yes.
They have someone who can support them whenever they need the support. So that is what we are focusing mainly on. Because I realized by giving back to the community, going to the children's home in Nairobi and different parts of the world, that is what brings contentment to me.
Okay.
The money, it is not all about money. It is all about how you impact on the community.
Yes.
I
and
remember,
now talking about impact, just hold that thought you want to share. Talking about the issues with impact, that's now speaking to purpose, because purpose now speaks to the needs of the people and, you know, just getting to solve their problems and get to those, you know, who have nothing and try to support them. How do you then balance so that you make sure that the business still stays afloat and still be able to support the community?
A good question. So for us as a company, because I've told you this company, it is not just a company that came into existence to make money. It is a company that came into existence to solve people's problem. And one thing we believe is that if you travel with Crown Eagle Safaris, you can never lack money. You must have that money so that you can spend in Crown Eagle Safaris by power, by fire.
Yes.
Because we also pray for you.
Yeah.
So when you look at it is this way, we have a model whereby all the proceeds that comes from the business, we have a certain percentage that goes to the foundation.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then me as a person also, I have a salary. My salary, part of my salary also goes to the foundation. Then I talk to friends like you. I remember last time you came on board and you supported us in a big way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we have other people like you also, the well-wishers who come to us and they support our mission and our vision.
Okay.
So that is basically what we are doing to make sure that we are balancing between family, business, and giving back to the community.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, some of, while talking to the people in the transport sector, the taxi, talking about the border, most of the experiences they were sharing is that they are unable to extend a hand because the income is so little. Maybe from where you sit and from your position as a tour operator, how do you then, because there is now separating company money and your money, and you're talking about you having a salary. Would you please talk about a little about that? Have you ever had the opportunity, maybe that scenario where you have to mix your money and the company, and how do you juggle between the two?
Basically, I've made sure that I've separated this. David is not Crown Eagle, and Crown Eagle is not David.
Okay.
Crown Eagle is a company, is a different entity.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So it has nothing to do with me as a person. Yes.
Okay.
So the company does not know me.
Yes.
I am the employee to the company. So that company can decide to, sack me.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how I relate with that company.
Yes.
And that has enabled me to put a discipline between company money and my money.
Okay.
So it is the responsibility of the company to pay me at the end of the month.
Yes.
It is my personal responsibility to manage my finances well. Yes.
Okay.
The reason why people are saying that they are not able to extend a hand, it is because wamekataa kurahisisha mahitaji yao.
Yes.
Unapata mtu analipwa 30,000,
yes,
anataka kuishi kwa nyumba ya 20,000. How do you expect to extend a hand?
You don't have enough disposable income.
Of course.
Yeah.
You can't. So people should learn to live within their means.
Okay.
That is one thing I can say. Yeah. There is no little money. There is no little money. I know the economy is hurting.
Yes.
But let me tell you, if you want to give, you will give.
Okay.
Because even the Bible talks about a hand that giveth.
Yes.
Not the one that receiveth. So if we complain, all of us, we say that there's no one who has money to give anyway.
Yes.
No. No one has money to give.
Yes.
Even me, I give not because I want.
You deny yourself.
I deny myself. I deny myself some luxury.
Yes.
If I was to eat like a bacon every day, I'm like, I'll eat once a month.
Yes.
So that I can also...
You spare. Wow.
That's one thing I believe.
Wow, such a challenge. We want to consider. Because somebody said that when we say that there's not enough money, economy stuff, kuna KD, KDS, KDT, mekuja, there are people still buying cars. We are still people thriving in the same season when we are struggling. And then you are talking about now the hand that giveth is the one that receiveth.
Absolutely.
That's so profound.
Absolutely.
All right. As we come to the end of the program tonight, maybe you would just want to share your parting shot, because I know we'll have a continuation of this.
Yes.
We'll have a continuation of this because there is the point of we want to see now the success story of it. But that will come in the next episode.
Right.
For now, I would want you to share about your parting shot and your message to this young person out here. I want you to look at this camera. Just talk to somebody out here.
You young person watching me on Hope TV, I want to tell you, all is not lost. One thing you need to know, it is to understand, what are you willing to do? What is your passion? What is your vision? Then once you know all this, write them down. Then get to network with people who can help you execute your vision. And when you are looking for people who can execute your vision, they must be people not of your level, but who are a little bit higher. Then when you go to them, go with zero expectations. If you want to come and learn from me, don't think that you will come to Crown Eagle today and you become David in the next month. That is not possible. It is a journey. I've also persevered. So you can also persevere and make it in life. Don't give up. Jikaze, weka Mungu mbele na ujisukume.
Kwa mpigo. That was so profound. It's such a better place to leave it out for tonight. Remember, we're going to proceed with this conversation come next Saturday. So you don't want to miss. Stay with us. And if you've missed any of our episodes, please visit our YouTube channel. That is at Hope TV Kenya. You'll be able to catch our previous episodes on the same. David.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for creating time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we wish you a beautiful weekend.
Thank you.
And a restful one for that matter.
Asante sana.
All right, great. And for our viewer and listener at home, God bless you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next Saturday, same time and same place. We'll be continuing this conversation. So until then, bye-bye.